In this video, we will see how to paint with an image. So this is a very powerful method, and I really recommend you to experiment with that because you will be very free of what you do after. So let's go with here the basic mug. So we still have our character here to paint, to make some experiments, but here let's play with the mug here. What we can do, first of all, it's going into shading and create a new texture over there. It will be the painting coffee. Okay, and we will take 2048, and what we will do, we will just create a dark color just like that. Okay, we will create a new shader for here, and we will call it mug or cup or what you want. And you can click and drag this texture over there. So by default, it will be totally black. Let's go in texture paint and make some new stuff with that. So we'll go with the pure white color and go there and fill the color into that texture. Okay. So we can see that we have some little parts that are not well filled. We can make a second click in when it happens this. You can see here sometimes it doesn't look perfect. And over there now we have a nice texture. So let's go with that. And what we would like actually is to add an image into this. So I have several images that I quickly made with Comfy UI, but you can make yourself, or you can search on it, internet vector designs or whatever. Here I have into the texture, so into the same folder of the file. Let's go with that. You see that you have here texture mask, but we will go with this tool. So we will just go with the basic paint hard, this one maybe, without any stroke. Be careful of the jitter and everything. Just everything has to be normal here. And what we will do, we just go into the texture tab. We'll create a new texture. We'll call it coffee. And let's go to grab a coffee logo with the texture tab here. Okay, so for this, I like to have here my tools over there. You can see that I have exactly the same tools over there, and the textures here. Like this, I can just open the texture and manage them easily here, and I just manage my tools over there. So like this, I don't have to make this and this and this and this and come back to this. I can just go in there like this. So I just open a texture over there and I will go into the right space here. So let's take this one, for example, and then let's open an image. So here by default, the behavior will be something like that. You will just make one click and it will just make the logo. And if you make a long click, it will just click and drag the logo like this. Okay, so it will draw like that. To control that more easily, you can use several techniques. First of all, the first one that you can learn is here with the textures here, with the stroke, sorry, and you can use this another stroke method. It's the anchor. The anchor lets you click and drag and rotate the design to move it where you want. Okay, so here with this click and drag method, you can just manage this really almost where you want. Okay, so looks good, nice. But what you can do as well is use another stroke method, and in that case you can come back to space here, and it's not the stroke method, it's the texture here, mapping here. And what you can do, you can use the stencil. The stencil will make you will let you appear the texture over there. If it doesn't have the right aspect ratio, Here it's just 1024 by 1024 texture, but if it doesn't have the right aspect ratio, you just click on image aspect here, okay? With the right click, you can manage here the location of the texture. With control right click, you can make some rotation, and you can see you have an angle value here that moves when I do that, okay? With shift right click, you can manage the scale of the texture. Okay, good. So you can really place, let's say I go into front view over there and I would like to really place well with control click and everything the texture that I want with that. Okay, so now you place your texture well, you are happy with it, you can just paint and it will paint the texture into your coffee mug like that. But what is good with this technique is that you can paint not only the entire logo. Let's say you are interested only in a part of the logo. I come back with Ctrl Z here. I can just use the tool less big, okay? And paint only what I want to paint. So maybe I'm interested only in this part. Okay, let's say until here. And with this technique, you can really make composition into your painting. Like for example, let's say you are happy with this one, but you would like a coffee text here over there. So let's go, let's find some coffee text in another texture. And maybe into that one, we see a coffee text. So let's open this image, okay? And we see that we have now this other texture that we can just change a little with some rotation. Okay, maybe we want our text over there. Good. And yeah, let's say we are happy with this. With this coffee text over there, we are good. And now we just click and drag and draw what we want only. And this is what is good with this technique, is that you can just make your own composition. Let's say you would like this part of this texture, so this part here, but it's not in the right side. Maybe you would like to invert the side of it. So you can use the size -1 here, and it will invert the logo like this. And now you can just play with that one. Maybe you would like to have something under the text like this. Okay. So let's make this. And you can make your own composition very simply like that. And just by choose the right size of the tool, you will just can click and drag and make your own logo like this. Okay. And now you see that we did create this fine painting. Okay, very simple actually. So don't hesitate to play with that. And you have a few options to do this. So for all logos, for all stickers or things like that, it will work. This technique will work perfectly. Be careful to be in front of the view of the area you want to paint. For example, here, if I come back and reset the transform like this, I will have and put back 1 here. Like this, I will have my original logo. Let's say I would like to click and drag and with shift click, just paint this part over there. But this part, it's the edge of the view. And as it will be projected, this part will be stretched if I look it like this, okay? So be careful to paint only in the area in front of the area you want to paint. If you see that here it's the side, you will not can paint it easily. So sometimes it can be good to play with the settings here over there. For example, we did talk about the options and the occlude, for example, here. And maybe sometimes you want to paint over to have the other side as well. It will not work for the text because it will invert everything, but in some cases it can be useful. And yeah, you see already that the technique is very powerful. Sometimes you can use even natural textures, like for example, let's say here, let's go with another technique. So you see that here into the textures, I will open a new image just to show you another technique. And let's go into the using texture sets. You remember we did download these textures from Polyheaven. And here what we have, for example, let's go into rocky terrain here. We have this kind of texture over there. We could paint with that, for example. And it can work in some cases. Here it's really not the case that we will use it, and we will not use it with stencil value usually. You come back to view plane by default, the one that is by default. And usually what we do with these kinds of textures, we can just click and drag and use here the stroke anchored, and you will have something, a behavior like that, okay? So in that case, for example, we could play to have kind of rocky surface like this. But this technique is good, but don't let you have a full material with it. Be careful with that. You will not have the entire set. You will not have the normal map. So it's just a technique that I can show you, but sometimes just to paint a little object or a little rock can be useful in some cases. Anyway, it's not the main technique I want to show you here. It's really the method here with the texture, with the stencil, that for me, it's the one that I use most. Let's go for add maybe some makeup into our character, or maybe to add some tattoos. So here, let's come back to stencil. Okay, like this, we see our image. Let's come back to something with not anchored. For the stroke, I come back to the space value here. Okay, the classical one, and I will open another texture over there. And what we will see, I did just download some tattoos here. So let's open maybe this image. Simple eye tattoo that I did create as well with Comfy UI. Here, let's go with our other object, our character. So I have to select this in object mode or it will not work. And now I have something that I can play with. Be careful here for the makeup. I will use the X symmetry here. And what I will do will not exactly the same technique, because here if I paint over the texture that I have already, you can see that it will paint the white as well. So it's not really what we want. What we want is only the dark values that will be added. So here into the options of this, we have the blend multiply that can help us for this. And now whatever I will draw, it will draw only the dark parts of the image. So another very powerful method. So for example, let's go into front view here, and maybe we could just with alt click, with shift right click here, maybe adapt as much as possible the makeup of this tattoo design to have something interesting for our character. Okay, so let's do something like this, maybe just for the top, the one above here. Okay, maybe we can play with the design a little to have something over there. Okay, good. Maybe I would like to paint only this. So that's really what is good with this technique, is that you can only paint what you want. And maybe you think it goes too far, so you don't go until there and you just paint something here, okay? Let's say somewhere here, and you will have this kind of nice here makeup already, and we will make the same for the bottom here of the eye. So let's go for it, maybe something like this and like that. Okay, you have to adapt it to the design anyway. Something over there might look good. Let's go for all of this. Okay, maybe until here will be enough. And after, maybe we have to come back to draw a little more over there. Not use too much this on that space because it will stretch too much. So that's why I just come back into it here and adapt the design and finish the line over there. Just like this. Very easy. Okay, so you see that now we have already something cool for the eyes. But we could add other parts of this, like for example the top here. So let's go for it. Maybe we can come back to the with no angle image. Put it into the right side, right size here, and I will put maybe only that part in the center here. Okay, maybe over there. And for this, just verify that it's well centered. Sometimes it can be not well centered, and you will see the result with the symmetry active here. So what you can do, you can just move it a little in case it doesn't work well. Here it seems to work well, to work not bad. So that's what I will do. And I will use a little tool here to be sure that I can paint really precisely what I need to paint and not the rest of the design. Okay. So here I will just paint that like this and come back over there. Okay, looks good. Good. So now we have this design over there. Maybe we could add this one, this part, the bottom size here, maybe near the lips, over here. So maybe like this we will have something interesting. We put just an angle like that and a size a little bigger, maybe. Again, be sure of the orientation. See that here I'm not in the center, so I will move the design a little. And now it looks better already. So now we have something that we can paint again. And maybe I will paint this little line here and this one over there. And we can just add some nice designs into our character, just like this. Simple clicks, simple ways to do it. And maybe we would like to change this and open another. Maybe we will go again with this one, with this tattoo here. Maybe we will put it here into the neck over there. So what we can do, we can make it in two parts, because sometimes, for example, here it's not well oriented. So I will just go with a negative one here. Like this, it will be more beautiful. And here what I would like to do is to not stretch the design too much. So I will take care to have something that will be until here maybe. Yeah, here I can make it in one part. For some parts, sometimes you have to stop and turn around the character and make it like this. I will not paint this part and this part, so I will just go with an F, something like this, and paint this tattoo here. Maybe not with the X, just on the left side like this. Not with the symmetry, just like that. Okay, and now I can paint my design just like this very easily. As you can see, it works pretty well. Okay, and you have your design just like that. Very simple to add some nice characters, and yeah, like this you can really play and have more creativity for your characters, just like this. So that's it for this this technique with stencil, you can see that you have a lot of possibilities with that. You can play with whatever designs you want, all the logos, or you can make it. You can put a sticker on a car, or a brand into a guitar, or whatever logo that you will have and that you have to put somewhere, and that is difficult to add just with textures. By default with the shaders, you can paint it directly just like that. So that's it for the texture paint. We will go and explore the asset browser into the next chapter. It will be something that will open your mind for really effective workflows, and I will show you that into the next chapter.